All right, guys, you've been asking for it. We're going to do another Osho reaction. He's a fan favorite around here, and I think there's a lot of viewers out there that really enjoy our Osho reactions.
I like that they've been asking for it.
Oh, yeah.
I like that it's a fan favorite.
Yeah,
cool.
Every now and then I get like, come on, when's the next Osho one?
Yeah.
So we're going to take a look at Osho International and his, I think might be the most popular video, or it's definitely in like the top 5, is Marriage and Children.
Ooh, all right.
Have you ever come close to getting married?
No, never. I'm against marriage from the very beginning, because that means cutting down your freedom, getting attached legally to a woman or to a man. No. Freedom to me is the ultimate value. There is nothing higher than freedom. It was difficult because I was fighting from the very beginning. My parents were in difficulty, my family was in difficulty, but I told them absolutely clearly that I am not going to be married. They were perfectly happy if I was going to be a celibate monk. I said, no, I am not going to be a celibate monk either. That was their trouble. If I was going to be a celibate monk, they were happy. In fact, they would have felt proud that their son has become a great monk. I said, no. Both are ditches. I am going to walk just in the middle on the razor's edge. And I have enjoyed the walk tremendously.
So what would you say now to all the people in the world who are married? Should they all get divorced?
Everybody should get divorced, without exception. And people should meet and love each other. Occasionally, as opportunity comes. There should be no ugly state when a wife has to make love to a man whom she does not love anymore, but she is fulfilling her duty. The husband is fulfilling his duty. While he is making love to the woman, he may be thinking of some other woman, she may be thinking of some other man. What kind of neurotic society you have created? If you don't love each other, at least be human and tell frankly that it was beautiful to be together, but now it is finished. Say goodbye. I would like marriage to disappear completely from the world. With the marriage will disappear divorce. With the marriage will disappear prostitution. With the marriage will disappear most of the work of the priest. With the marriage, almost 99% job of the psychoanalyst, therapist, psychiatrist will disappear. It is marriage that is creating all kinds of psychological perversions, repressions, guilt. It is simply human. You see a beautiful woman.
That one thing he said, with the disappearance of marriage goes the disappearance of divorce. That is something so simple that I could imagine people being like, no! I'm like, no, yeah, that is true. No marriage, no divorce. No, there would still be divorce without marriage. Like, there's people that are so stubborn. It's like, no, there wouldn't be. Well, there also wouldn't be. Like, okay, so let me dial it back a little bit here. First of all, I think Osho is a little bit like Jesus. And Jesus said stuff like, if your eye offends you and then pluck it out. Yeah. If your left hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Yeah. I don't think people were like, sure thing, Jesus. Like, I don't think people did that sort of thing when Jesus spoke. Yeah. I think if Osho knew two married people and they were like, Osho, we've known you for years now. You think we should get married? I'm not sure that he would be like, you should totally get married, totally get divorced. Yeah. I don't know if I said that right.
I think you meant to say that if two married people came to Osho and they love each other and they've been together for a long time, you don't think that he would necessarily just say, go get divorced.
I don't think so, but I think he's a provocateur. And when asked about that, like, so what do you think, everybody should get divorced? I think Jesus responded in similar ways, like, yeah. You know what I mean? Because on some level, he probably even does mean it. Like, well, like, kind of, yeah. But if you could handle it, you also got to know what you can handle. With my partner, we've had serious conversations as we've, like, our beliefs have changed over the years, like, just touching base. Communication's a big thing. If you are married, like, you know, but not talking about it. There's a thing that's very, like, you know, I don't know if it's like just a Western type, stuffy Western thing where it's like, you don't talk about things. Everybody suppresses everything and doesn't talk. Yes. But I think that turns into weird traditionalism, like weird, stuffy, repressed traditionalism, where a discussion of being like, hey, you know, like, we are committed to each other, and that's fine. We still committed. Yeah. We still on the same page. Okay, we're on the same page. But what if our kids don't follow suit with that? Are we going to like pressure them to be that way?
Well, that's what it leads to, right? Is like a lot of repression. So say you decided to do like the longevity marriage thing, you know, and this is coming from two guys that are married. So like, a conversation like this like opens you up to like maybe not be so judgy of people who decide to live a less traditional path and find their own way and not be like, and always be hounding them like, hey, are you married yet? Or how many kids have you had? Are you doing the exact same thing that I'm doing? Yeah. Because sometimes a lot of that is that like, I need other people to make the same decision that I made so that I can feel comfortable about the decision that I made. Yeah. And sometimes that's also coming from people who are like, man, I effed up and now I'm stuck in a miserable marriage.
Yeah. I actually think it when the rubber meets the road, like if you really held him to it, he'd be like, yeah, I don't think people should get married. Yeah. And yeah, I do think everybody that's a marriage should get divorced. But I think he would be more nuanced in his day-to-day life than that. I just think he's very smart. I think Osho's very intelligent. And I feel like that is shocking sometimes. Like if you don't give an answer like that, it can't be certain that the person can even hear you. Yeah. It just gets lost in the field of everybody else is saying their points. But when you make a definitive thing like, yeah, everybody should get divorced, then it like people are kind of taken back. Yeah. And I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. I don't know why I said that. But I feel like you've noted this too, that there's like a weird similarity between Jesus and Osho. Yeah, provocative. Yeah. You know, Jesus would say things that normally people think would be opposite. Okay. Like blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those that what are the Beatitudes? They're all about like you're blessed if it's you have the opposite things of what everybody thinks.
Yeah. Well, with Osho's kind of interesting too, because a lot of the stuff, the short clips that you get of Osho on YouTube usually get kind of like the more provocative stuff. Yeah. But if you do spend some other time outside of these videos listening to long formatted Osho, there's like a real gentle when you can meditate to his stuff.
Yeah, and you will come across things where he talks about like good practices if you are in a relationship. Yeah. Like good things if you are being intimate with somebody, how to be considerate and all this stuff. So obviously he's not just like trying to separate things. This is you're right. In the tidbit clips of it, it's usually pretty provocative.
And you would like to have some time with her. It need not have any God's permission for it. Even your God committed rape with Virgin Mary without her consent.
Do you believe that story?
I just believe that story because it proves that your God is a rapist. Otherwise, I don't believe in that story. Jesus must be a bastard. It is certain he was not the son of Joseph. And just to cover up the whole thing, that great story has been invented.
Got God to do the job.
They say God is a Trinity. God, the Holy Ghost, and the Son. The Holy Ghost did it. But he is part of God. It is just like my hand is part of me. And your genitals are part of you. The Holy Ghost is part of God. Perhaps he is his genitals. Otherwise, how he could manage to make a virgin girl pregnant?
What about family responsibilities? The married partner's responsibility to their children, for a start.
The children should be the responsibility of the commune, not of the family. It is the family which creates tremendous problems in the children's mind. It gives all their sickness, all their superstitions, all their stupid ideas, theologies, religion, political parties. It enforces on the child. Child has to be freed from the family. If you want a new man, then family is an ugly institution. Its time is over. It should be replaced by the commune. And then it is very easy. The commune takes care of all the children. There will be the father, the mother, they can meet the child can come to them. But basically, the responsibility is of the commune to take care of the children. The children will have many uncles and many aunts, and they will have more opportunity of human contact, of different type of people. They will be immensely enriched. Our children are very impoverished. They know only one man, one woman, and they know the constant quarrel between the two. The woman is nagging the husband is beating the woman, and this is what you are training them for. Your boy will repeat you. He will be your carbon copy, knowingly or unknowingly. Your daughter will repeat your wife, knowingly, unknowingly. And that's why no son can ever forgive his father, and no daughter can ever forgive her mother. They destroyed their lives. And it is absolutely psychologically proved phenomenon. But if the commune takes care, then they will have experiences of so many different kinds of people. It is my experience that every person is so unique that the more contacts, intimacies, love affairs you have, richer you will be.
quite beautiful, you know what I mean? If you just sit there and let it wash over you. Now, I would suggest not being like, oh shit, I better get divorced. I don't think that that's the point. It's not like but I do think that it opens up the floor for communication, you know? Like, you might realize that, well, this is some pretty advanced stuff. And, you know, again, maybe the future, because one of the things he said was, it's the end of that. It's the end. This is the end of the family as we know it. And instead, the commune, as he calls it, but that could mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But I don't think that means so immediately go and get divorced necessarily, especially if you like have a good relationship.
Might mean prepare for what's to come. It might be like, don't be so scared when you see your neighbor doing that and someone else doing that. And as things evolve and change and environments shift, I think actually going into the future, depending on the environment, because for commune living to properly work, I think there has to be a fertile foundation for that.
Yeah,
in
like
order for that to
like
even
well,
be a thing.
I kind of feel like our government's a little anti-commune. Like I feel like people get nervous because of how many failed commune. There are communes.
Yeah.
To this day, there are for sure communes. Some of them are probably they probably vary in quality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to some degree, I feel like you would raise a lot of eyebrows. And we've been enculturated by our system and our culture that we're in. Like some things are seen as weird now.
Yeah.
Osho's own commune ended weirdly with him like having to evacuate the country. So take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I think for those that have ears to hear and for those that have eyes to see, they're tickled a little bit by that. And they're like, I see what he's saying. Yeah. And it could be the wave of the future. You never, like I was asked today, why do you think about the distant future so much? Because of stuff like this.
Yeah.
So that I know, so that I can start to pick up on patterns that are already emerging. Yeah. But it is, what do you not think in the distant, you think in the distant future it's going to be just like, what are we all Mennonites? Like, let's freeze it where we are now. We even have examples of people that have tried that. Like, we're not going to live past the 18th century. Yeah. We're only going to use that technology. I do think there'll be people that are like, you know what, the 90s were the best. And there'll be villages where people like don't let technology go beyond the 90s. Yeah. But for the people that are evolving and stuff like that, I think it can be helpful to see how things might change and try to anticipate to some degree and listen to people with intelligent perspectives on where things are going. And, you know, do you not see the harm that this is causing? And, you know, maybe you don't have to take giant radical plunges. Just like it's not for everybody to be celibate. It's not for everybody to sleep around a bunch.
Yeah.
There's different things for different people, obviously, but he speaks in a provocative way. I appreciate it. I think it's hilarious. You know what I mean? And of course, it would be a little tough for some people when he was talking about
talking about Jesus there,
Jesus' birth. I've also heard Osho talk highly of Jesus. Yes. I've heard him be like, I am totally for Jesus, but I'm not for the religious side of it. Yeah. And I've heard him I'm pretty sure I've heard him say stuff like, I will contradict myself. Yeah. Like, don't even expect me to be consistent. I'm going to expect me to contradict myself. Yeah. So that's, just let it soak over you. Go watch more Osho. Yeah. Interesting, smart, open your mind up a little bit type person.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we said enough on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed our reaction to this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and everyone until next time, stay spiritual.